We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
He's one of those happy-go-lucky kids. He's got a smile on his face. He just loves to play baseball. And when he gets in there and gets his opportunities, he makes the most of them.
A deep drive to right field. Escobar to the wall and gone. A home run. Eduardo Escobar puts the Twins in front in the 10th.
A dramatic home run for Escobar and a great way for the Twins to start this road trip. A win over the Indians. Escobar in the starting lineup at third base tonight for Game 2 as the Twins hope to get above the 500 mark in Cleveland. Welcome to T-Mobile Tuesday Night Baseball, Game 2 of 4 between the Twins and the Cleveland Indians. It'll be right-hander Samuel Deduno going for the Minnesota Twins against Josh Tomlin, two pitchers who lost out in bids for the starting rotation for their respective clubs in spring training. Deduno pulled out of the Twins bullpen. Tomlin pulled out of AAA Columbus. It's a beautiful night for baseball here in Cleveland. Dick Raymer along with Jack Morris sitting in for Bert Blyleven during this road trip. Samuel Deduno wants to be a starting pitcher, and now tonight he'll get his first chance of 2014.
And I think he's very excited about this opportunity, and he's positioned to do a good job tonight. Cleveland not hitting on all cylinders right now, but Sammy just got to command the strike zone. He's got such great movement, a tremendous breaking ball, and his fastball, I don't know if he can even throw it straight, but he just has to start it inside right over the plate and let it do its thing. God-given talent, and if he can just get ahead of counts, and that Gardy's got him on a pitch count of maybe 80, 85, 90 pitches max, and Sam's going to have to try to get through 5 to get the win tonight.
The bar's been set pretty high as of late by Twin starters. They're hoping for another good start from Samuel Deduno as the Twins take on the Indians in Game 2.
Ron Gardenhire and the Twins hoping to get above the 500 mark. Twins have played 4 times here in Cleveland already. Have picked up 3 wins. Indians scuffling to score runs right now. We'll see what the Twins can do with this Menard's batting order. Brian Dozier in the leadoff spot. Sam Fuld moving up to second. Trevor Plouffe third. Chris Colabello, Jason Kugel, Kurt Suzuki, Eduardo Escobar hitting 7th. Chris Herman 8th. And then Danny Santana making his first major league start and hitting 9th. Josh Tomlin on the mound, ready to deliver pitch 1 to Brian Dozier. Ball 1. Dozier, Fuld, and Plouffe to get things started for the Twins. Foul back. Tomlin, a strike thrower and a quick worker. So the Twins, who piled up a lot of walks this year, and if they're going to have any success against Tomlin, they're probably going to have to hit their way aboard. 1-1 to Dozier. Chopper to short. And Cabrera has a chest-high hop, and that's the first out.
The Mall of America scouting report on Josh Tomlin. He's a guy that had Tommy John surgery a couple years ago, and he's a couple years removed from that. He pitched very well in spring training. Probably should have made the team. He'll pound the strike zone, and his out pitch is that cutter, kind of a slider cutter, just a good breaking, kind of late breaking ball that looks like a fastball to the hitter.
Sam Fuld, the batter, with 1 gone. And Fuld takes a strike over the inside corner. When Tomlin was pitching in the rotation for the Indians, and before his elbow injury requiring Tommy John surgery, the ball hooked foul. We liken Tomlin's control to that of Brad Radke. Radke typically would walk 1.5 to 2 guys per 9 innings, and Tomlin has that kind of control. So the Twins, who've done a nice job being patient at the plate, drawing some walks, probably are going to have to swing away here tonight. Up and away, and it's 1-2.
Well, he's the kind of guy that if you're a Cleveland Indian fan, you probably really appreciate, because he doesn't know he doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he has tremendous confidence, and he will pound that strike zone. Rarely does he feel good about walking anybody.
2-2 to Fuld. Popped up near third. Santana retreats in foul ground, stumbles a little bit on the rubberized warning track, but makes the catch, and that's out number 2. Northland Ford defense for the Indians. One of the issues they've had this year is a poor defense. Michael Brandt is in left, Niger Morgan in center, David Murphy, excuse me, in right. Carlos Santana has Drupal Cabrera left side of the infield. Jose Ramirez at second, Nick Swisher at first, and Yan Gomes behind the plate. Crew chief is Brian Onora. He's behind the plate. Doug Eddings, Chris Siegel, Corey Blazer on the bases. Trevor Plouffe takes low, ball 1. Plouffe, the designated hitter in the ball game. And that covers the inside corner.
Well, the sun is out here in Cleveland. It made everybody feel a lot better than the gloom and rain pregame yesterday.
Breaking ball and a tapper foul, 1-2.
It's a little crisp, but we'll take it, won't we?
And we'll take it a little bit warmer tomorrow night, and then Thursday's supposed to be just beautiful here. And the Twins go to Detroit. Eventually we'll get there. Nice springtime weather. As it is 54 degrees, it's 20 degrees warmer than when the Twins were here the first road trip of the year. 1-2, Tomlin to Plouffe. Inside 2-2. Tomlin had Tommy John surgery late in the 2012 season, made a couple of relief innings, pitched a couple of relief innings last year. This one drilled to right center field. In the gap, Morgan in the shadows makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 first inning for Josh Tomlin.
presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. Terry Francona's second year as manager of the Cleveland Indians, and it's been a rough start for Francona. After getting the team to the playoffs last year, Indians are in last place in the American League Central as we begin play here tonight. The Menards batting order for the Indians. Diger Morgan in for the hamstrung Michael Bourne. Nick Swisher, Michael Brantley, Carlos Santana, David Murphy, as Drupal Cabrera, Lonnie Chisenhall, Yan Gomes, and Jose Ramirez.
And they will be facing that man right there, Samuel DeDuno. He's making his first start for the Twins this season. He made 18 starts last year, going 8-8 with a 3.83 ERA.
Fastball over the inside corner. He ended the season with some shoulder issues that were taken care of surgically. And while Tomlin was a cleaner switches a ball flared foul for the Indians, Tomlin lost out in a spring training battle for the 5th spot in the Indians rotation. This is a little bit trickier. DeDuno was considered a starter, but from the very beginning of spring training, the Twins pitched him out of the bullpen because of the shoulder problems. Chopper up the middle, and Santana guns his throw across to Colabello. We've heard about his arm, and tonight we'll get a chance to see it. Santana with a nice play, and it's good to see in his first start that first ground ball getting hit to the new shortstop.
Yeah, for a young kid getting his first start, you want to get the ball right away, touch the ball, and he makes a fine play right there. Even better, the fact that DeDuno only threw 2 pitches to get it out.
And now Nick Swisher. As we work through the Cleveland lineup, a couple of hitters last night the Twins were shifting on. Ron Gardenhire said the other day, with DeDuno's erratic control, they won't do much, if any, shifting. There's a strike over the inside corner, because DeDuno himself admits sometimes he doesn't know where the ball's going to go.
That would be a scary thought as a pitcher.
Kind of hard to pitch into a shift when the pitcher himself is not sure where the ball's going to sail. 1-1. Twins do have Brian Dozier in short right field, and Swisher swings through a breaking ball. 1-2.
I think when you watch Sam DeDuno, you realize that he probably has better command of his breaking ball. He throws a tremendous curveball, and that's the one they're always topping. He's got a 67% ground ball ratio of all the outs he gets.
Change-up wallop to the gap in right center, and it bounces off the wall. Herman fires towards second base, and Swisher with a 1-out double. Northland 4 defense for the Twins. Across the outfield, it's Jason Kubel in left, and Sam Fuld in center, and Chris Herman in right. Different infield alignment, particularly on the left side, with Escobar and Santana there. Dozier, Colabello on the right side. And Suzuki gets the task of trying to corral the stuff of Samuel DeDuno. Danny Santana got that first ground ball hit to him. Last night he entered the game as a pinch runner and then stayed in the DH spot. Runner at second, 1 down. Here's Michael Brantley. Strike 1. DeDuno's gotten ahead of all 3 batters so far.
That in itself is a good sign. Attacking the strike zone. He did leave that ball up a little bit to Nick Swisher.
To center. Swisher to third. He's coming home. Fuld's throw comes through, and it gets by the catcher and DeDuno. Brantley was going to second base anyway, but the throw by Fuld sailed wide of the cutoff man Escobar and all the way to the backstop. And the Indians, who didn't score last night, strike early here tonight.
You'll see the pitch, that ball up right out over the plate. Michael Brantley doing a good job of just staying on it, driving the ball to center field. And then Sam Fuld comes up and gives his best effort, but Swisher was going to score pretty easily. The ball gets by Suzuki, and that allows Brantley to get down to second base.
Now, the mistake was by Fuld in overshooting the cutoff man or throwing it wide of the cutoff man, and now another man in scoring position for Carlos Santana. A couple of solid hits and a quick run for the Indians. Down and in, ball one. Santana really struggling, and through the struggles, not many options for Terry Francona. He's still got to let Santana hit in the middle of the Cleveland lineup. Sounded like he cracked his back. Colabello will go to the bag. That's out number 2, and Brantley goes to third. 2 away, and that'll bring up David Murphy.
So many times you see a group of guys kind of struggling at the same time, put so much more pressure on your pitching staff, but you also know that you've got to ride it out. And Santana's one of those guys. Nick Swisher not doing what Nick Swisher can really do, and Cabrera hitting only .211. So they've got 3 of their main guys that are just struggling right now.
Murphy swings over a 91-mile-per-hour fastball, strike 1. Dozen pitches, 10 strikes for Deduno, but 2 of them hit crisply for hits. The Indians have an early run. That's chopped wide of first. 0-2. Breaking ball dribbled up the line. Colabello has it go right between his legs. Murphy running up the line, and Colabello had it go right under his glove and through his legs. It's 2-0.
Yeah, you can see him just pull his head off just a little bit, kind of flinches. It happens. Everybody that's ever played the game has had that happen to them at least once somewhere along their playing career, and when it happens at the big league level on a routine little ground ball like that, it does not look good.
And when it happens in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, it's never forgotten.
It's never. That's right, Billy Buckner.
Here is Asdrubal Cabrera. It's been a rough first inning for the Twins, with the Indians getting a couple of runs already, and now awful swing by Cabrera, 1 strike. Well, you could almost see Colabello looking at the runner Murphy running up the line. Murphy runs well, and it was going to be a close play anyway, but swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
I think he was getting ready to run more so than taking his eye off the ball. He was anticipating that ball coming up higher than it came up.
"14 strikes thrown by Deduno. And now a ball.
Now you're hoping that he can get out right here this inning. He can't afford to run his pitch count up very high. Got to believe that Logan Darnell is going to be the first man up out of the bullpen. The Indians have struggled against left-handed pitchers this year.
Suzuki to his right blocks the breaking pitch. Well, you'd like to be able to pitch and play your way around mistakes, but as it turns out, Fuld overthrowing the cutoff man on Brantley's single was a big play, because that gave Brantley an extra base, and now that extra base has cost the Twins a run.
You know, and there's managers that will teach their outfielders, don't even make an attempt. Just throw the ball in and keep that runner at first base. We'll give you the run early in the ball game. You don't have to be a hero. We're going to have our chances of scoring our own runs.
Full count now. Murphy will take off from first.
And I think there's just a lot of pitchers that appreciate a good hard effort. So it's kind of a catch-22 system.
That strikeout ends the first inning, with the Indians getting the first 2 runs of the game. presumably not available for play in the dugout. And the Twins will hope to get it back as soon as possible. Chris Colabello will lead off the second inning against Josh Tomlin. Twins down early, 2-0. And the first pitch over a strike.
You mentioned that Tomlin will come right at you. He only walks 1.7 guys per 9 inning in his whole career, so he's a strike thrower.
1-1. And the Twins have run into a lot of those. You know, the Grinkies, Herons of the world, they are where they are because they throw it over the plate. So this vital part of the Twins' offensive attack, drawing walks, really not a much of a option for them over the last week or so. 1-2 now to Colabello. Colabello, Kubel, and Suzuki. Twins trying to get at least one back here in the second. Sharply hit on one hop to Cabrera. One down. Twins single game tickets are available and affordable for every budget this summer at Target Field. Special deals are available for every day of the week, from dollar dogs to student night discounts to specials for entire families. Check them out at twinsbaseball.com or 1-800-33-TWINS. One gone. Here's Jason Kubel.
With everything we've said about Tomlin, the Twins have fared quite well against him. He's 1-3 with a 7.67 ERA. In 6 games, 5 starts versus the Twins.
First pitch to Kubel on the outside corner, a strike. A high blast to right field. Murphy in the corner. And he makes the catch in foul territory.
I really thought that ball was hit high enough to, or hard enough to get out of here. But it was hit high.
Deep to the corner. Pretty good wind blowing in from right center field. And Murphy with enough room to make a foul ball catch. 2 down, and now Suzuki.
Murphy did a nice job there of knowing where he was and feeling that wall so he could actually come back into the baseball, keeping his eye on it.
Tomlin lost out in the bid for a starting spot in spring training to Carlos Carrasco, who he is replacing here tonight. Indians wanted to give Carrasco a shot in the rotation. It didn't go well. Tomlin had an option left, so they sent him down to Columbus, where he pitched really well. And in his last start, he pitched a complete game win for the Clippers. 1-1 to Suzuki.
3-hit shutout down there. He was named the International League Player of the Week for the week of April 28th through May 4th. So yeah, he's been pitching well down there, and everybody tells us he pitched very well in spring training.
Up and in, 2-1. Making his first start since July 27th, 2012 at Target Field against the Twins. Two and 1. 3-1. Escobar on deck. Now 3-2. Indians making a change in their rotation, but they are where they are in the standings, not because of poor pitching, just a very inert lineup.
No, the overall starting pitching has been quite well, and they're happy with their bullpen. It's just they're not scoring runs.
Full count to Suzuki, and a shot to left, a base hit. Another solid stroke by Kurt Suzuki. That will bring up Eduardo Escobar. Last night, Eduardo Escobar delivered a game-changing moment with his game-winning home run in the 10th inning against John Axford.
And he got that one. He went up there with a game plan to look for a fastball on the inner half. What was great about it is he didn't miss it when he got it.
got a good start last night from Kyle Gibson. He'll join us in the next half inning, and then the bullpen was very good as usual. Down and in to Escobar. Escobar didn't start the game. Gardenhire inserted him as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, trying to win it when the Twins developed a scoring opportunity in the 7th. Didn't get it done in the 7th. He got it done in the 10th. You know, and we all like walk-off wins at home. They're fun for the fans. They're fun for everybody, the players and all that. But to me, a game like last night where you win in your last at bat on the road, it's even more impressive. And the Twins have already had 3 of those this year where they won in their last at bat on the road. The closest thing you're going to get to a walk-off away from home. Escobar takes low, and it's 2-1.
And to your credit, or to your point, Dick, I think it's harder to do on the road. And in last night's game, we're talking about an extra inning game, which is even harder to do. So, you know, it shows that you're not quitting, you're not giving up, you're grinding it out. And so far, it's been fun to watch for the Twins.
Laced to center field, and Suzuki will check in at second base. That'll get Chris Herman to the plate. So the Twins trying to put together a rally with 2 outs in the 2nd. A couple of solid hits.
Well, Eduardo Escobar trying to make it hard on his manager not to play him. He has really swung an excellent bat here in the last few games.
4-hit game against the Orioles over the weekend. The big hit last night and an early one here tonight. Herman will bat now. You know, you can't. It's just an opinion, and it's my opinion in this case. Twins have 15 wins, and I'll bet you there have been 5 of them that they would not have won last year, including last night's game. I mean, you just get a feel for a team's fight this early in the season, and we've had some very impressive wins already in this young season. Herman checks his swing and takes a strike.
And to that point, I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of reasons to get excited about this ball club. You're seeing some of the improvement that the club and organization was hoping for. Right here, you got to hope that Chris Herman gets on base, because the guy up after him is batting 1,000.
Tapper fouled, 2 strikes to Herman, and Herman's had some issues. Of course, didn't make the team out of spring training. His presence on the roster allowed the Twins to keep Pinto as a designated hitter for a while, but Herman himself just 4 singles in 32 at bats. So he'd like to get on a hot streak like Escobar has. Two strikes to the Twins right fielder. Call, 3rd strike. Herman out on strikes. The Twins get a couple of 2-out hits. They needed 1 more. Coming up next, last night's starter Kyle Gibson will join us live from the dugout when we return. The Indians are hitting. We're going to trouble Kyle Gibson for some time from the end of the Twins dugout. Nice job again last night, Kyle, and you must feel comfortable out on this mound here at Progressive Field.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It could just be my approach or actually executing pitches here, but I've had a couple good starts and I've had fun throwing against the Indians, but I'm sure at some point they're going to give me. It's just a matter of time.
Chisenhall, the batter, he takes outside, ball one.
Give you Jack here, just reiterating what Dick said. Great job last night. Only 2 hits, 7 innings. You probably were wondering about going a little deeper, but you're not too dissatisfied with that, are you?
Well, no. I mean, I was definitely happy with the outing, but I'm really tired of walking guys. There's no doubt about that. You guys talk to me.
Base hit to right field. Chisenhall leads off the second with the third Cleveland hit.
You guys talk to me about every start, and I just walking 3 guys. That's just not me. That's never been me, except for this year and my 10 starts in the big leagues last year. So, I'm about tired of walking guys, and sooner or later I'm going to fix that, or there's going to be a lot of frustration on the mound. But I'm costing myself pitches, or I would be going deeper in the game. So, I'll get there and I'll make the adjustment.
One thing I wanted to ask you is kind of along the same lines of what Dick suggested. You've had really good luck so far here at Progressive Field, and you've pitched a couple games here in fairly cool weather. Is it something you're used to? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I'm fairly used to throwing in the cold weather. Going to high school in Indiana and college in Missouri, we had pretty cold weather. All the way through end of March for sure, and beginning of April. Normally, we had a couple cold showers there at the beginning of spring. So.
And there's a balk as DeDuno drops the ball on the mound, and that will allow Chisenhall to go to second.
It never failed. I think twice at Missouri I pitched in snow. It was just one of those things that you kind of understood was going to happen. So, and I understand that hitters do not like hitting in cold weather, so I like to go inside and try to get in on those hands if I can and sting those thumbs a little bit.
Runner at second, nobody out. Yan Gomes, the batter, 1 strike. Hey, Kyle, I wanted to ask you about your defensive play last night with Brian Dozier going into right field, and then somehow you were able to make a catch and get your foot on the bag.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Colabello and I had a moment there where we both looked at each other and saw that neither of us run to the bag. And at that point, Colabello's back was turned to Dozier, so I kind of realized I was the only one with a chance. So Dozier threw the ball right to Colabello and I, and right dead in the tracks at the cut. And I had to reach back and catch it. At that moment, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get my momentum going toward first and beat Brantley. So I just stuck my leg out and hoped that I beat him there. But I didn't realize I scooped the ball until I saw the replay. So apparently it bounced before it got into my glove.
To center field toward the gap, hooking away from full. It'll be another Cleveland run with Gomes driving a double to left center field. And it's 3-0.
Kyle, that athletic play last night, I'm sure you want a little respect from those silly position players that don't respect the pitcher's fielding ability. I know Bert probably was very proud of you and talking all sorts of smack about it, but you don't practice those kind of plays. I mean, we cover first base in spring training till we're sick of running over there, but to react that way, I think that just shows your athletic ability.
I appreciate that. Trevor gave me the ball after we threw it around the infield, and he said, "I'm just letting you know I'm officially reinstating your athlete card." And so that's why I was smiling there, when he gave me the ball back. So, it's I've always taken pride in my PFP. Always ever since high school and college. That's one thing we did a lot in Missouri. They put us in front of a wall and they just hit balls at us and made us field our position. So that's just one thing that's always been important.
Popped up, short center, Fold coming in now with the wind pushing it further towards the infield. And the first out of the second inning. Kyle, you got 10 starts last year and you won a couple ball games, but 3 wins right away this year. And by appearances, you just feel a whole lot more comfortable out there. But what's been the biggest difference between 2013 and 2014?
I think I'm a little bit more comfortable. My second time around, I think I'm just a little bit more relaxed out there. And as Jack knows, the more you're relaxed, the better you can execute. And this game's all about execution. Both teams have a plan. Both teams know as much information about the pitcher or the hitters as they can. They've seen video. They've seen sliders and curveballs and changeups just like I've thrown. So there's no secret to what I have. It all just comes down to whether I'm hitting my spots and if I'm staying out of the middle of the plate and if my strengths are on that day. So I think that's just part of it. Being relaxed and being in a lot of the situations on the big league level now, and the adrenaline, I'm using it to my benefit. Most of the times I'm still misfiring and with the walks, but being comfortable definitely helps a lot.
The camera well, not too
Careful.
far from Kyle Gibson.
Keep an eye on the game there. Hey, one of the things I think you should try to explain to listeners, because I'm curious myself, we're seeing so much of this Tommy John injury, and we know that it's kind of a 2-year type recovery. Talk a little bit about where you were last year compared to this year and how much more confident you are because of that.
I think
Number 2.
I think, last year when I got called up, I felt really good. And in spring training last year to start the season, I did feel good, but I was running on a lot of adrenaline there in spring training and the start of the year. I really only had about a month and a half off after going to the fall league. So that offseason was a lot different for me because I really didn't get a whole lot of rest. This offseason was a lot more normal. I felt pretty good going into spring training, but it never fails. The bullpens and the mound work in spring training really take a toll on me, every single year. And then I think yesterday was really, probably one of the first times that I wouldn't say I had dead arm to start the season. But, I mean, Jack, you know how it is. You get going and you finally get on a routine and, you have a couple starts where you actually feel like, you're ready to go. And I think last night my arm felt really fresh. And, I guess I could probably say it kind of felt like the first couple outings during my rehab, where I hadn't thrown for 8 months, doing all that shoulder rehab. So, I'm looking forward to hopefully it feels that good, for the next 25, 30 starts this year and, just that fresh all year long.
A rocket to center. Swisher's hit a couple of bullets. That one sailed right in front of DeDuno's face, and 2 runs in the first, now 2 runs in the second.
Well, Kyle, I can tell all our listeners that I witnessed you just wax a couple guys in the bullpen in table tennis ping pong here today, and it didn't appear that your arm was sore in any which way.
Oh man, ping pong.
It's a great game, and I
love it.
I think it's a great game for hand-eye coordination.
Yep.
It makes you relax a little bit before the game.
That was, I would say, that was one of my my dad and I's favorite activities as I was growing up. We had a ping pong table in our basement, and when I was a kid, he beat me until I cried in ping pong. Beat me until I cried. Went up to my mom saying, Dad was being too mean to me. And then he started playing me left-handed, and as I grew up, I started beating him left-handed, and then. He started playing me right-handed again, and it was just a challenge. I mean, I think it brought out the competitive nature in me a little bit, but definitely the hand-eye coordination, and I really have a passion for it.
Dribble to the right side. Dozier has the play, and that ends the inning. Another couple of runs for the Indians, and our thanks to Kyle Gibson for some time, and good luck against the old Missouri Tiger in your next start. You're going up against Mr. Scherzer.
Going to be a lot of fun throwing against Max. So
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep, thank you.
He made his major league debut last night and also picked up his first big league hit. He said he still has the baseball sitting in his locker. He's going to buy a case for it and keep it somewhere in his house. He also said he was very nervous to play last night, but then he said, I got out there and there was really nothing different about this game. And I asked him when his nerves finally calmed down a little bit. He said, when the catcher almost threw me out at second base. That pretty much did it for me. He said he's also a little nervous to start tonight, but more excited. He said very excited. And Dick and Jack, Ron Gardenhire, is very anxious to see the kinds of things that Danny Santana can do out there, especially because of the speed he brings.
Thank you, Marty. 1-1 to Santana and a pop-up toward right field. Ramirez out, Murphy in, and Murphy catch, one away. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Brian Dozier continues to lead all of baseball in runs scored, and now in a first-place tie along with the Rockies' Troy Tulowitzki. 31 runs in 30 games coming into play tonight. Dozier with a bouncer to second, or to a short rather, his first time up.
Yeah, Brian did not score a run yesterday. That's almost unusual at the pace he's been going.
Strike called. Dozier tied for the league lead in stolen bases with 11. Eric Young Jr. with a dozen. Deke Gordon with 19 over in the National League. Swisher goes to the bag, 2 away. Time now for you to tweet a photo using hashtag NorthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. 2 down here in the third. Tomlin staked to an early 4-0 lead. Here's Sam Fuld.
Yeah, the Twins need to start whittling away into that lead, and remind Tomlin that it's not that easy at the big league level. He's kind of on cruise control so far. A couple hits given up there in the second inning.
With 2 out, and now Fuld takes strike 1. Two hopper to the first baseman Swisher. An easy 1-2-3 third inning for Josh Tomlin. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. It's been a rough start for Samuel DeDuno and his teammates. DeDuno's been hit hard, 5 hits. Some very well hit line drives all over the ballpark. And then the Twins have made some mistakes too. Missed a cutoff man. Colabello with an error. DeDuno himself with a balk, dropping the ball on the mound. 1 strike. And Santana takes strike 2. Middle of the Cleveland lineup here, Santana, Murphy, and Cabrera. Really no secret why the Indians have struggled. You just look at their lineup. Here is Santana hitting below 150 with just 11 runs batted in. You mentioned Swisher started the game below 200. Cabrera seems headed there. Kipnis out of the lineup with an injury. There's a breaking ball in the dirt. Santana strikes out to start the third. Michael Bourne has been in and out of the lineup with hamstring issues, so a big part of their attack has either been injured or ineffective.
Well, take a look at this 2-strike swing. You know, that's a swing that is not exactly short. He's not trying to put the ball in play to left field. He's got one thing on his mind, and Don Mattingly talked about it to Roy Smalley in a little pregame show earlier this year about how he's concerned that this strikeout ratio now, more and more guys are getting just huge numbers of strikeouts because they're trying to hit the long ball.
Well, this year the Twins, at the rate they're going, will have 7 players with 100 or more strikeouts. 1-1 to Murphy. And it's not just the big guys. I mean, you know, back when you and I were growing up, you know, Frank Howard, Reggie Jackson, Harmon Killebrew struck out a lot. Well, they were hot power hitters, and they were going to do that. You know who's leading the American League in strikeouts right now? Marcus Semien.
Yeah.
Of the Chicago White Sox has struck out 43 times. I mean, he struck out more than Adam Dunn.
Well.
Dozier has a kick off his glove into short right field, and Murphy's aboard. Murphy reached on an error charge to Colabello, and we've seen Dozier make that play, and plays much more difficult most of the time. Saturday, MLB on Fox Sports 1 is back with a doubleheader as Buster Posey and the Giants renew their rivalry with Yasiel Puig and the Dodgers. And the Indians take on Evan Longoria and the Rays. Action starts at 2:30 Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, they give Murphy a base hit, but we've seen Brian Dozier make that play almost in his sleep.
I think that ball just kicked up a little bit right there where the dirt meets the grass.
Here's his Drupal Cabrera.
Well, I remember guys in my era, Rob Deere being one of them. You know, he might strike out 200 times, but he's going to put the ball in the seats 40 times. And,
right.
You know, when you're driving in runs, but to have a guy strike out 43 times that isn't named Deere or Dunn.
And isn't 6 feet tall.
He may not see 200 strikeouts because he'll be working on that in the minor leagues again.
1-1 to Cabrera. And a throw to first. Justin Upton leading the National League with 44 strikeouts. 1-1. And Cabrera takes outside, 2-1. Then you have on the other side of the coin guys who have been the toughest to strike out. Victor Martinez striking out once every 28 at bats. Upper right side, Colabello with the force at second. Return throw to first. Santana fires to DeDuno, and Cabrera bounces into an inning-ending double play. It's 4-0 Cleveland. Trevor Plouffe will try to change the scoreboard in the Twins' fourth. Morris bringing you Twins baseball on this road trip. Bert Blyleven taking some time off. Jack Morris graciously agreeing to return to Cleveland, where his pitching career ended, and then we're going to Detroit, where his pitching career began. And if we had a little more time, we'd run over to Toronto and visit the Rogers Center, where you had an intermediate stop after you left the Twins. Doing what we can to make it kind of old home week. Looks like Gomes took a foul ball off the back of his right hand.
The old umpires allowing him to kind of get a little time to have the sting go away. Yeah, I was teasing my good friend and yours, Tommy Hamilton, great radio guy here for the Indians. He said there's a lot of players that came here to die and end their career.
Bluth lifting it foul, 0-2. But you came here at the zenith of the excitement here in Cleveland, because this ballpark had just opened up. You pitched in the first year here. They sold out every game.
Every game.
You had a lineup that had Manny Ramirez batting eighth, for crying out loud.
Young Manny out in right field. Eddie Murray. Oh, geez, Tommy at third. Yeah, we had a team that we felt was going to go to postseason. And then, of course, the strike hit in '94. But those were good times here at what was then called Jacobs Field, now Progressive Field.
Plouffe taps it foul. Well, they've had an issue today on a referendum, which is to not add a tax, but to continue the tax that was started 20 years ago to build this ballpark and the Quicken Loans Arena and the Brown Stadium. And they hope to have some word tonight as to whether that passes or not. On the ground and gobbled up by Ramirez. Plouffe retired, one away. And Chris Colabello will come to the plate. Carsoup.com trivia question: which Twins player has the highest career batting average at Progressive Field? I'll just say that my guess is a current Twin.
I would guess that too.
Chris Colabello will hit.
You got to remember now, for all you people that are going to play the game with us, started here in '94, so it's 10 years old, or 20.
They sold out the first 455 games here. I mean, just think about that. That's a little more than a little more than, let me do my Minnesota high school math here. More than 5 years of sellouts, 5.5 years of sellouts. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes to Colabello.
Well, that brought him into the times where they were actually in postseason with C.C. Sabathia, a young Cleveland pitcher, Cliff Lee, some of the really good pitching staffs that Cleveland's had.
But now back then, though, when they first moved in here, it was Dennis Martinez and later Oral Hershiser. 2 strikes to Colabello. And 3 strikes, 2 down. Twins not doing much against Josh Tomlin at all here, down 4-0. Owning Twins season tickets provides a lot more than a guaranteed seat. Season ticket holders get a variety of benefits, starting with 2014 All-Star Game ticket purchase priority. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com. There's a season ticket plan that fits every fan. Here's Jason Kubel. Twins with a couple of clean line drive hits with 2 outs in the second, but nothing in the way of a scoring threat.
Well, Kubel was playing for the Cleveland Indians last fall.
Not much. He came over from Arizona. The Indians were trying to augment their roster to get a veteran left-handed hitter, and Jason still wasn't physically right. And a handful of at-bats, didn't get any hits. 2 strikes. And all 3rd strike. Josh Tomlin carving through the Twins lineup. Stake to an early 4-0 lead. Indians jumping on Samuel Deduno early. Yan Gomes with an RBI double. The Indians got a couple of runs in the first inning, a couple of runs in the second. Line drive hits all over the place, but then the Twins made some mistakes too. Missing a cutoff man, committing an infield error. Deduno himself balking on the mound. Lonnie Chisenhall will lead off the fourth, and he takes outside ball one. Bottom third of the Cleveland lineup: Chisenhall, Gomes, and Ramirez. Deduno starting the inning with 48 pitches thrown. Expected to go about 80 pitches, depending on how well he pitches. Remembering that he was a long reliever for the Twins. Down and in, 2-1.
Now at this point, you hope that he could get through the fifth inning. That would mean 15 pitches in this half inning, and then another 15.
Chop foul.
There's so much more emphasis on number of pitches per inning, you know, and I get so frustrated at times because of the pitch count, because I know traditionally all young pitchers struggled early in the game. That's just been a part of baseball forever. The greatest of all pitchers, if you got them early, and once they got dialed in and their rhythm and felt a feel for that mound, they usually shut things down and pitched well deep into the game.
A walk to Chisenhall to start the fourth inning. First walk issued by Deduno, and that'll bring up Yan Gomes. The Twins cautious with Deduno and wanted him to pitch out of the bullpen, at least at the start of the year, because he did have shoulder surgery last year. But you know, going into camp, at least during the offseason, the thought was, well, Deduno would be a candidate to start. Scott Diamond would be a candidate to start. And Kyle Gibson would be a candidate to start. Fox Treks here presented by Jeep, and a pitch lifted foul down the right field line back into the seats. And when the dust had settled, Gibson, who had options left, pitched his way into the starting rotation and has been Minnesota's most consistent starter. Deduno had Diamond had a very difficult March and was cleared through waivers and had a good outing the other day, but has struggled in Rochester. And Deduno started in the pen and now finds himself in the rotation in place of Pelfrey. Over the inside corner, 0-2.
I think it's fair to say that really Kyle Gibson won that early on in spring training, that he came and really started pitching well early in spring training. That continued all through spring training. By the time they broke camp, there was no doubt that he was going to be that fifth guy.
Dribbled to the right side. Colabello can't make the play, and Dozier finds Deduno on the bag, one away. Chisenhall to second base. That's what you want your first baseman to do, right? Go to your job is to get to the bag, so you want your first baseman to get to as many balls as he can get to, right?
Well, this one, you know, it's a slow hit ball, so yeah, he's got to go after it, and you hope that the second baseman is there. Pitcher, either way, anything hit to his left, you've got to bust over to first base and be prepared for a throw from either one of them.
Now that was your routine 4-1. The thing we had last night with Gibson,
right? That
was a little bit different.
Yeah, you don't practice those.
Here's Jose Ramirez, one strike. You know, and the thing that makes you cringe when you see something like last night, you know, we saw Tim Hudson covering first base last year, and he blew out his ankle, and it's
Achilles been stepped on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a play that is fraught with danger to begin with, and then you see the pitcher jamming his foot into the bag in a slide.
Yeah, it's probably better a foot than a hand. I've seen so many guys slide into first base, and how many I bet I can't count them on both hands. How many times I've seen guys slide into first base, and it's been proven that you can run through the bag faster, and they come up with a sprained finger or a sprained wrist.
2-1. Another chopper to the right side. Colabello to the bag, beating Ramirez, and on the play Chisenhall goes to third. Well, let's give you another look at an awkward play, but a big play, big out for the Twins to get.
Well, what made that play really, in my mind, so athletic is Kyle Gibson had to keep his eye on the ball and be aware of where first base was, because you're just reacting at that point. You see that really Colabello could have got hit on the backside from the throw from Dozier, and it gets by him, and you know, in some way Kyle Gibson was blocked out. He might not have saw the throw completely in the air the whole way, but he reacted incredibly well and did not get hurt. Thank you.
Niger Morgan, the batter, runner at third, 2 down. Twins already down 4-0. Yeah, that to me would have been a huge distraction to see a guy 6'5", 240 named Chris Colabello right in the middle of the play. And you don't know what he's going to do, where he's going to break. Is he going to continue to go to the bag? Chopped foul, 1-1.
I think it's fair to share this with the listeners because it was quite humorous. Gardy was telling us after the game that he said if that ball would have hit Colabello in the backside, he said I would have just never stopped laughing. He said he just got so twisted around.
Colabello being kept busy. For that matter, so is DeDuno. He pitches around a leadoff walk. Twins down 4-0. Go to the 5th with Kurt Suzuki leading things off. Pepsi fans of the game, at least some of them, cheering on both the Wild and the Twins. We wish our very best to the Wild in their playoff series with the Blackhawks. Game 3 tonight. Kurt Suzuki will lead off the 5th inning. He'll be followed by Eduardo Escobar and Chris Herman, who need to try to get something going against Josh Tomlin. Tomlin must have felt something because he ran to the mound for his warm-up tosses, and he was ready to go tonight a minute and a half before home plate umpire Brian Onora was ready to start the game. He'd finished his warm-up tosses. He wanted to go. And Brian Onora had to wait till 7:05 Eastern time to give the okay to start the game. But Tomlin was ready, and he's come out here tonight with 4 impressive innings, 3 of them 1-2-3 innings.
And talking to a couple of Cleveland people about him, they said that after the Tommy John surgery, he actually felt better. He's thrown a little bit harder. And he kind of expressed that he feels like he has never had the kind of extension that he's getting right now. So in this case, the Tommy John surgery has been kind of like a blessing for him.
1-2 to Suzuki. As one of the 2 Twins hits, now he takes in the dirt. Well, you hope that the decision to send him to Columbus was based on something other than the fact that he had options left. We mentioned the Twins felt Kyle Gibson, even though he had options left, was their best candidate to start in the rotation at the beginning of the year. And so, options aside, they put him in the rotation at the start of the year. Tomlin had a great spring. Carrasco did not. Up and in, 3-2.
But even Tomlin has said that in some ways it was a blessing for him to be sent to Columbus because he got back onto a real routine as a starting pitcher and got his innings in and got his work in. And that might have not have happened right out of spring training.
Tap or foul. And if you're the number 5 starter for a major league club this year, it seems like you're forever getting pushed back with all the postponements and all that.
Yeah, all the Twin starters were pushed back 6 to 7 days there for a period of time back in April.
Suzuki battling Tomlin here, trying to get aboard. Twins have some coming back to do here, down 4-0. Inside, he just missed, and Suzuki works out a leadoff walk.
Good at bat right there by Suzuki. First walk of the game issued by Josh Tomlin, and he doesn't walk a lot of guys.
See what they were trying to do.
Just missing inside with a fastball.
Bring up Escobar, who lined a single his first time up. Then Herman, then Santana. Twins working through the bottom of their batting order. Not sure where he thinks Suzuki's going. Down 4 runs, but he threw over there anyway.
The Twins ball club is the kind of club that is really not really focused on a big bomb. They're the kind of club that will take whatever comes their way. A base hit here, a stolen base. And I think that's a good sign, because teams that are typically waiting for that big blast to get back into the game sometimes can wait a week or two.
I think you might be seeing a little bit of that over in the Cleveland dugout.
Yeah.
1 strike to Escobar. Twins have hit 23 home runs. Only 4 teams in the American League have hit fewer home runs. The Orioles 22, the Royals 13, and this one will surprise you. The Texas Rangers have hit just 18 home runs this year.
Yeah, they paid a guy at first base, Prince Fielder. I think he was supposed to hit 18 in the first month alone.
1-1 to Escobar. And it's an easy double play. A line drive to the backhand side of Swisher, and Suzuki doubled off 2 down.
That's just bad luck right there. Ball hit right at the bag, and Swisher closer to the bag. Nothing Suzuki could do.
Chris Herman called out on strikes his first time up. And a strike.
That's 12 out of 17 first pitch strikes for Josh Tomlin.
Bouncer to Swisher to Tomlin, and again Tomlin faces just 3 men in the inning. Signs, and if Bert circles you, you might find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery winner circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. Bert not here on this road trip. Jack Morris sitting in. Twins winning a nice 1-0 extra inning ball game last night, but rough start for Samuel Deduno. He gave up 5 early hits and a couple of runs in the first, a couple of runs in the second. Here's Swisher. He has 2 of the 6 Cleveland hits, and he takes strike 1. Down and in. I don't know if it hit him or not.
I think it did. Sounded like it did.
He picked up his bat. I think it hit the dirt. Yeah. 1-1. Anything that hit Brian O'Nora.
We talk about it all the time. Move a guy's feet. Well, that's pretty much the essence of moving his feet.
Umpire might be wishing he'd moved his. They've got the steel-toed shoes that they wear behind the plate, but I think that one got right on the end of Brian O'Nora's shoe. 2-1. Now 3-1. Deduno walked the leadoff man in the 4th. Protection on top, but then toes are protected for the home plate umpires. That's off the glove of Escobar. He recovers, fires to first. Still got him. Good recovery by Eduardo Escobar.
Well, he didn't panic. Tom Kelly used to talk about that all the time. Don't panic. That ball was hit sharply, and it really hit right off the tip of his glove. He had to run quite a ways for it, but fields it with the open hand, not his glove. Comes up and finds the target first base, makes an accurate throw.
Escobar still hasn't put the glove on his left hand. That was a hot line drive. And he's getting a little abuse from the Twins dugout there. Came out of the glove. Nice recovery. 1 down. Here's Brantley. And there's ball 1.
Deduno kind of doing what he does. So far he's thrown 10 ground ball outs, 1 fly ball out, and 2 strikeouts.
If he can get through 5 innings in the neighborhood of 80 pitches, I think score aside, the Twins would be happy with that. You didn't want to have a 3-inning outing here. Logan Darnell might get a chance to get in and pick the ball game up as soon as the 6th inning. 2-0. But the important thing, with the count now going 3-0, is for Deduno to finish an inning. Darnell, if he is the first out of the chute, he's a starting pitcher for AAA, and he's not used to entering a game in the middle of an inning.
They would prefer him to start the inning.
3-0, 4-0 rather, now to Brantley, who draws a 1-out walk.
Second walk given up now by Samuel Deduno.
We'll bring up Santana.
Yeah, I mean, this game is not out of reach by no means. The only thing is Josh Tomlin seems to be really locked in so far. And had the Twins maybe scored a run or 2, it wouldn't look as bad as it does right now. But overall, Deduno is, I think he's kind of pitching where the Twins expected him to so far.
Fly ball deep left field. Kubel back. And now back in because of the wind. And that's out number 2. It was one of the ironies last night. We talked about the wind, and it seems like, whether it's home or away, the wind has been blowing in all season long. Now, when you play golf, any golf at all?
Try not to.
Okay.
I'd rather go fishing.
You go golf and you play any course, and you know if you're going to play 6 of the first 9 holes on the front with the wind at your back, you eventually have to get back to the clubhouse, and you got to hit into the wind. Well, here so far this year, it just seems like the wind has been blowing in every game. The Twins, in 30 complete games, have hit and allowed less than a home run per game, in part because of the cold weather and the wind.
So I have a different take on that completely. I think you're supposed to play golf in the wind. That way you have a good reason to explain your score.
And I've used that excuse a number of times. Strike on the outside corner. But the Twins coming into play today have hit 23 home runs in 30 games. They've given up 25 home runs in 30 games, obviously. But it just seems like the wind was blowing in Chicago, or 2 visits here.
Well, it's been cool weather here in most of the Twins games.
And foul by Murphy.
And when you play 162, that typically evens out. You're going to have your days where the ball flies. I still believe that we're going to see a lot of home runs at Target Field this summer, more so than we've seen in the past.
I asked Ron Gardenhire that the other day because over the weekend, I think it was the Saturday game against Baltimore, the ball just seemed to really carry. Mauer hit a 3-run home run. Florimon hit one to the wall in center. And he said, too, for whatever reason, the ball seems to be carrying more at Target Field. DeDuno with a scoreless finish. Feature coming up tomorrow night. Part 2 of our Dominican Republic series, taking an up-close look at Twins shortstops past and present. And Christian Guzman featured, as well as Danny Santana, Jorge Polanco. We'll spend a day with Pedro Florimon in his hometown. Baseball in the Dominican Republic. Shortstops tomorrow night after the Twins Live postgame show. Asked Ron Gardenhire today about Danny Santana and his bunting ability, and said he's a very good bunter. Big part of his game, both as a left-handed batter and right-handed batter. He showed bunt there and took ball 1. And Ron Gardenhire said, too, he was happy and a little bit surprised that last night Santana took 2 pitches before getting his infield hit, because he's not a very patient hitter. It might come later in his career, but he likes to swing the bat. Now it's 2-1. Santana coming into this year with over 2,000 professional at bats and just 116 walks. Roughly 1 walk for every 20 at bats. To center, Niger Morgan with catch, 1 away. Brian Dozier 0 for 2, having a very good start to his 2014 season.
You see the numbers right there. Pretty impressive with Brian Dozier. You know you have something special in a baseball player when you go into a visiting town, and the writers and the media and the guys in the other booths are all talking about your new guy at second base. Dozier's had a great start to this 2014 season.
Tomlin drops a breaking ball over the inside corner. First 5 batters are 0 for 10 against Tomlin tonight. 1-1.
Well, Tomlin really on top of his game. He's executed his pitches. He changes that eye angle from down by the knees up to the chest, in and out.
You've gone through what he's gone through, the Tommy John surgery, a terrible ordeal for every pitcher. Kyle Gibson went through it. 1-2. And Dozier swings through a breaking ball. It's out number 2. Target Field is the place to spend time with the people most important to you. Groups of 25 or more are eligible for discounts on tickets and don't have to pay handling fees. Organize a group today. Check out twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS and ask about a Twins Target Field group outing. Tomlin's case different than, say, Mike Pelfrey. Gapper foul. I mean, Pelfrey came back from Tommy John surgery, signed a contract with the Twins, and immediately pitched in the big leagues. Tomlin, because he had options left, just got a couple of relief innings in last year and then had to wait another off season, had to fight an apparent uphill battle in spring training, go down to Columbus. Now he's here. Now he wants to stay here. He's gotten his opportunity and he wants to make sure he doesn't go back to Columbus.
Nobody ever wants to go back once they tasted the big league lifestyle. But Tomlin, one of the reasons,
Busted bat and Swisher can't get there.
one of the reasons I think he's a control type pitcher is he's able to repeat his delivery. He's very compact. He doesn't do things that are awkward. He's within himself. He's got very good balance, and those are all keys. You know, you look at a Mike Pelfrey who struggled with his command and wondering what happened to his location. Well, he's a big guy, and he's fallen all over the place at times. And Tomlin just seems to have a very compact delivery that he can repeat over and over. He reminds me a little bit of Clay Buchholz, not just because of the hair, but just the way he commands his pitches.
Tomlin 6'1", 190. Buchholz is a little bit bigger guy, right?
A little bit.
19th round pick back in 2006. 1-2. Doinked foul. Seems like he's one of those guys that will never wow you if you have a radar gun. Here he is, 91 and down to 72.
Well, and 20 miles an hour is ideal if you're changing speeds and you have kind of everything in between. Hitters just can't sit on one pitch.
In the dirt, 2-2.
You got Dozier to strike out in the last out on an off-speed breaking ball that Dozier is way out in front of. And that's the art of pitching, really, is to change speeds, change eye angle.
Fold trying to work out a walk as Suzuki did in the 5th. 77 pitches for Tomlin, working quickly. Protecting the plate. Fold keeps the at bat alive.
Just a great pitcher's pitch right there that Sam Fold did a nice job just to be able to stay alive. Down and away fastball. Just not making mistakes over the heart of the plate at all tonight.
Twins 3 games ahead of the Indians in the standings. 4.5 behind Detroit and 7.5 behind Detroit. Popped up near third. Wind might push this toward the railing, but with enough room on the warning track, Santana ends the inning. For the 5th time in 6 innings, Tomlin faces just 3 batters.
Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. 4-0. The Indians leading the Twins. Twins shutting out the Indians last night. So far, the Indians shutting out the Twins. And a big moment for left-hander Logan Darnell.
He's making his major league debut. It's always a big moment for any player that finally gets that chance. Logan resides down there in Tennessee. He's from Nashville originally. He did not have a record at all in AAA Rochester this year. He made 4 starts and very good ERA of 1.69. So he's been starting down there, and Gardy knew that he had to try to find a way to get him into a ball game. I think it's good that he gets to start an inning instead of come out with inherited runners.
He'll face Cabrera, Chisenhall, and Gomes here in the Cleveland 6th. First pitch nubbed in front of the plate. Suzuki quickly picks it up. And that didn't last long.
It's an easy game. He's going to go home tonight. Kind of like Danny Santana last night, who got a base hit in his first at-bat. Logan Darnell gets an out in his first pitch.
And Escobar just threw the ball to a fan behind the Cleveland dugout. And Darnell, if he wanted that ball for a souvenir, sorry. Darnell got a new baseball because it was beaten into the ground, the first one. And now here's Lonnie Chisenhall. Sometimes you take a snapshot and it might not be the prettiest thing, but yet it still fits together like a jigsaw puzzle. Darnell was called up. Aaron Hicks went on the disabled list with a concussion. But the biggest issue, and the reason Darnell was called up, the bullpen was overworked because of the split doubleheader on Thursday. So Darnell had to bide his time. The Twins decided, you know what, we're going to make a change, get Pelfrey out, put him on the disabled list, put Deduno in the rotation, knowing Deduno wouldn't be able to pitch anywhere close to a complete game. So the former minor league starter gets a chance to, in essence, make a start here in the 6th inning in relief of Deduno. 2 down, a couple of choppers in his first major league inning.
Colabello is going to walk him all the way back to the mound. Give him time to catch his breath. Maybe give himself time to catch his breath.
Maybe he's telling Escobar, look, if I give you this ball, what are you going to do with this one?
Well, you know, all those balls look the same.
Yeah, I know.
You rub them up, and, you know, 20 years from now, if he has a great career and he's hanging around that long, who the heck's going to say it wasn't the ball that he threw for the first out?
You're not a sentimentalist?
Oh.
Do you have
It's a baseball.
Do you have any mementos from Game 7 of the '91 World Series?
You know, I think somebody stole my glove, my hat. I tried to keep it all intact. And before I ever left the stadium,
I felt guilty about that
Where
ever
is
since.
that? You ever going to return that to me?
Someday I was going to give it back to you.
Oh, I certainly have a lot of things I've collected, but they always haven't been the exact baseball.
Swing and a miss, 1-2 to go. Really? Somebody stole your glove from?
Yeah. I don't know, my hat. I wanted the hat. I don't know why I remember putting the hat underneath my glove and actually putting it next to my stuff on the bench when Danny finally scored, and I'm running out there, and when all the celebration was done, I went back to the dugout and everything was gone.
I didn't know that. There's a high fly left center field. Full back to the warning track. Hauls it in. Not tonight. Not to center field. And Logan Darnell has a 1-2-3 inning in his major league debut.
2-3 sixth inning, and then Ron Gardenhire wants the ball.
What you didn't see there is that Brian Dozier gets the ball thrown in from the outfield. Gardy's coming down there asking for the ball, and Doge knows that he's coming down there to get it, and he fakes like he's going to throw it to another fan in the stand. That was good humor right there.
Well, see if the Twins can ambush Josh Tomlin here. Trevor Plouffe, Chris Colabello, Jason Kubel, the 3, 4, and 5 batters. And quite a moment for Logan Darnell. Just a handful of pitches, a 1-2-3 inning. So a lot of first. His debut, his first out on his first pitch. And if the Twins can come back here, maybe a chance for his first major league win.
That'd be nice.
Plouffe 0 for 2. Twins having a tough time scoring runs. They won a ball game by scoring a run in the 10th inning yesterday. So far, nothing against Josh Tomlin. Plouffe trying to bunt in front of Santana on strike.
Yeah, you would think that that would have been an easy base hit. Santana was playing way back, kind of caught him sleeping. Good thought right there by Trevor Plouffe, but he just couldn't get it down.
One strike to Plouffe. Fly ball to center and a ground ball to second. High and deep to right center, but playable for Murphy. Back to our carsoup.com trivia question. And no, it's not Danny Santana at 333. One of my Twitter followers offered that up. They got to go with Mr. Mauer, and it's Trevor Plouffe, who's a teammate of Joe Mauer's.
Hey, we got part of it right? You said the current Twin.
Yep. Chris Colabello is 0 for 2. You know, this Twins lineup that was scoring runs literally in bunches, at times 8 in the game, having a tougher time now, and the quality of pitching that they face certainly a big part of it. But it might be that this lineup finally is really missing the likes of Josh Willingham and Oswaldo Arcia, certainly recently Joe Mauer. It's a different lineup without Mauer to begin with, and then you take some of the muscle in and around Joe.
Well, the 3 guys that are kind of cooling down a little bit, at least here in the last 2 games, are Dozier and Plouffe, and this man at the plate right here.
You'd like to see Colabello get back onto a hot streak. Bouncer to short in the strikeout.
I'm not sure anybody really expected these guys to keep up the pace they were starting out at.
There's a drive to left center field. Brantley back, and that ball's gone. Colabello to left center, hitting his 4th of the year, and the Twins are on the board.
Well, all we got to do is mention it, and Chris, of course, he can hear us down there. And great extension right there on that swing. Tomlin left that ball up. You're going to be able to see some great extension right here. Ouch. That's why the ball goes that far. These guys, big and strong like that, get that bat head out in front of the home plate where they make contact, and he sends that one sailing.
And now Kubel. The beginnings of activity in the Cleveland bullpen. Now a 4-1 ball game. And Kubel sends one to the right field corner again, chased by Murphy. And this one back into the seats.
Almost
nice catch by the fan. That catch by the fan was better than the one Murphy made on Kubel in the 2nd inning.
Look at that extension right there. See the point of contact right here. Out in front of the plate. Just a great swing right there. Great job by our camera guys to show that.
One strike to Kubel, and now he takes a ball. All the Twins have done in 16 1/3 innings in this series offensively that's amounted to anything, a pair of solo home runs. Santana's game winner last night, and now Colabello the start of something here in the 7th. 1-2.
You know, there's a little stirring now in the Cleveland bullpen. Josh Tomlin with 88 pitches, so he's closing in on that mythical 100.
There's an excuse me base hit for Kubel. A check swing roller to a vacated left side of the infield.
See how easy it is?
And that'll bring up Kurt Suzuki and will send us down to Marty Gellner.
We saw when Jason Kubel was hitting the extreme shift that Cleveland had put on him and has in this series. And I asked him about it earlier. He said he doesn't notice it, doesn't pay attention. And I said, but aren't you tempted to lay down a bunt? And he said, I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to do it a few times this year. I'll have to make sure it's the right situation. He said he's been working on it. He's been getting better at it. And I even said, can I say that on TV or will I be blowing your cover? He said, no, I don't care. I have Gardy's blessing, and I don't know when it's going to happen. But Dick and Jack, Kubel said he will lay down a bunt down the third base line at some point when teams are playing him with that shift.
Forget bunting, just perfect what he just did. That worked pretty good. Joking with former teammate Swisher. Suzuki will hit. Mickey Callaway to the mound. Mark Zipchinski warming up in the Cleveland bullpen. Kurt Suzuki, the batter, he's reached twice. He's drawn the only walk issued by Tomlin, and then with 2 outs in the second, got the first Twins hit, pulling one through the hole on the left side of the infield. Held high strike. As we get toward the late innings, something to keep in mind, not only is John Axford, the Cleveland closer, blown 2 saves in a row, he's pitched in 3 days in a row, 3 games in a row, Saturday, Sunday, and last night. Doubt that he'd be available tonight. So the Twins would love to keep paring away at this now 3-run Cleveland lead just to make Terry Francona get creative in the 9th. 2 strikes to Suzuki.
And you got to think that Terry would just be delighted if Tomlin could get through this half inning. Pitch 7 innings.
Pulled down the line, foul. Tigers leading the Astros 4-0 midway through their game at Comerica Park. The Indians in last place in their division. The Twins 3 games ahead of them in the standings. 2 strikes to Suzuki, and it's popped up here first. Swisher should have a play. 2. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 streaming sports service in America and is celebrating 12 years in the business. Join the millions of subscribers who can watch every out-of-market game live in true high definition on more than 400 devices. Visit twinsbaseball.com today and check it out. Francona to the mound. Tomlin will come off the mound, and what a moment for him. His first start since Tommy John surgery, and it was a very good one against the Twins here tonight.
Well, the sparse crowd is really showing their appreciation.
Involving players who had the game taken away from them through no fault of their own, have had to fight their way back to get back into the game and look forward to a moment. In Tomlin's case, his first start after the surgery, it was tonight. He did a great job. Now that he's out of the ball game, the Twins will try to come back and beat the Indians by beating up the bullpen. And Mark Zebchinski is the first man out of the chute.
Well, his manager and pitching coach definitely have to be thrilled with what he's done here tonight.
And he will turn Eduardo Escobar into a right-handed batter. We saw last night Ron Gardenhire using his limited resources on the bench in the 7th inning trying to win a ball game. Situation far different here. Escobar lifting it foul. But with 2 outs, if Escobar were to reach, that would get the Twins tying a run to the plate. And the Twins might have a pinch hitter for left-hand hitting Chris Herman. It could be Osmiel Pinto, but the Twins are really short on outfielders. They don't really have a spare outfielder in this current roster. Check swing. I think he went. Well, they'll appeal. Yep. 0-2.
You get to see it. That head going well beyond home plate. That is a strike. Yeah, Gardy's hands are kind of tied. The only thing he can do if he pinch hits for an outfielder would put Santana or Escobar, which I don't know which one he'd rather put out in the outfield, and put Florimon back at short.
Inside. I think in asking him that before the game today, he suggested Escobar would be the odd man in the outfield. Santana's played some outfield earlier in his professional career, and they thought about putting Santana in left field today very briefly.
Very briefly.
Very briefly. 1-2. Foul tip. The at-bat still alive. Escobar with a single, and then as a left-handed batter, he hooked a line drive to Swisher with a man aboard. Swisher caught it and turned it into a double play. Mauer on the roster, but not available, so really just 2 bench moves, Pinto and Florimon. Checked his swing this time successfully. 2-2.
Well, it'd be an interesting at bat coming up here if Escobar could get on, because the game is running out of innings. The Twins would have the tying run come to the plate. Pinto more than likely a better chance of putting one in the seats to tie the game. So
versus a righty or a lefty.
Yeah, left-hander Herman.
Foul back. Escobar battling. And Ron Gardenhire saying today too, ideally they'd like to get back to a 4th bench player, which of course would mean getting back to 12 pitchers and not 13.
Well, I think they want Logan Darnell to start, and if he's not going to be in the rotation, he will probably be the guy.
2-2 to Escobar. You saw Scott Atchison warmed up. Taken low. This pitch taken for ball 3.
Well, that's Terry Francona's counter move in case Gardy pinch hits for Chris Herman.
Full count to Escobar with 2 gone. The runner at first. Kubel will take off. And a Tapper foul. Some teams will have their first baseman playing off the bag and not hold the runner in this situation, but the Indians choose to keep Swisher holding Kubel at first base.
The reason for that is a base hit and they're not holding him on. Kubel could possibly get to third base. If they hold him on, he's probably not going to get to third base.
That's strike. It's ball 4. It's a strike, and Escobar will reach on a strikeout, and Kubel will go to third base.
That's just heads up base running right there by Jason Kubel. I think everybody, Jan Gomes and maybe even Zubchinski, thought that ball might have been fouled.
Escobar trotting to first, but Kubeloff with the pitch scampers to third base.
The sound we heard is that ball hitting home plate. That's Jason Kubel as he rounds second base. He's keeping an eye on the play, and he sees that nobody's at third. Just scanners on over there.
The Twins will send Herman to the plate against the left-hander. Herman is 0 for 2. Down and in, ball 1. Herman 4 singles, 34 at bats, 0 for 2 today. 1 for 5 against left-handers this year. Up the line foul, 1-1. In using Pinto, of course, then you also take your backup catcher out of the game in a pinch hitting appearance and run yourself vulnerable to Suzuki getting hurt later in the game. This one hit to short center. Coming in is Morgan. He's there, and Herman hits it in the air for the third out. The Twins get 1 and lead 2 in the 7th. Couple of runs in the first inning, couple of runs in the second. Some mistakes in the field, including Chris Colabello's error that allowed the second run of the first inning to score. Then there was an overthrow and a outfield throw to the infield. A balk. Twins weren't playing good baseball in the first couple innings, and Mike Tomlin was locked in. Josh Tomlin, I should say. Chris Colabello dropping one into the seats for the lone Twins run. Splintered bat, a soft line drive to Danny Santana, and again the first out of the inning comes very quickly for Darnell. 4 up, 4 down. He's only thrown 9 pitches, 8 of them strikes.
No left-handers in the Twins starting rotation, and you're looking at a guy that is trying very hard to show the organization that at some point he'll be here to stay.
Indians are pinch hitting for Niger Morgan. Now, Terry Francona doesn't have any more bench moves to make than Ron Gardenhire. He's got 3 players, but Michael Bourne's got a hamstring issue, and he's not going to be used tonight on a cool night with some leg issues. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. And there's a pitch outside, so it's a bit odd. I would think that a manager leading by 3 runs would go ahead and make a move when he only has 2 to make. Morgan charged in to make the catch for the 3rd out of the top of this inning. It didn't appear to be injured in the slightest.
Well, Terry Francona pinch hit Ryan Rayburn for Nyjer Morgan last night in the 8th inning. So tonight in the 7th inning.
But now he's left with Mike Aviles on the bench essentially. And 3-0. Darnell falling behind Rayburn. Nick Swisher will follow. High fly to right. And retreating is Herman. Back on the warning track for the catch. Rayburn gave it a ride for out number 2. In anticipation of Wednesday's debut, the latest in our baseball in the Dominican series, now on FoxSportsNorth.com. Tyler Mason looks at the recent tradition of the Twins having a shortstop from the country. Two down in the 7th. Danny Santana by appearances, the shortstop of the future from the Dominican Republic, featured on that show tomorrow night. Swisher now a right-handed batter. We've mentioned all along here that the Indians have struggled to score runs this year. They have really struggled against left-handed pitching. It's not a coincidence that after Kyle Gibson left the ball game yesterday, the Twins went lefty, lefty, lefty out of their bullpen using Theobar, Dunsing, and Perkins. And now first reliever here tonight is Darnell. Indians hitting just .220 as a team against left-handed pitching, and Swisher joining in the futility. Two and one. That's to the left. Kubel running toward the gap, and he makes a catch on the edge of the track. Some well-hit balls in the 7th, but another 1-2-3 inning for Logan Darnell. On the Detroit side of the Doug Fister trade, they were interested in getting Ray, and Tigers decided to trade the veteran Fister, who still hasn't pitched, for the Nationals. And Ray now in the rotation for the Tigers. Veteran Scott Atchison pitched for Terry Francona in Boston. Now he's pitching for him in Cleveland. And he'll face Danny Santana leading off the 8th in a 4-1 ball game. Santana 0 for 3 or 0 for 2 in the ball game tonight. 1 for 3 as a big leaguer. Ryan Rayburn taking over in left field. Brantley moving over to center. Down and away, 2-0. So a minuscule sample size, but within the 3 at bats, the key for Danny Santana. He hit it on the ground last night, got a base hit. Hit it in the air twice tonight for outs. 2-1. I think in all 4 of his at bats, he's taken ball 1 and ball 2 to get started. Sliced foul, 2-2.
Well, the one thing I think that impresses the brass here for the Twins is his speed. He can flat out fly, and if he's truly apt to be a good bunter, that would be a very good weapon for him.
Strike out a lot. Now Gomes throws low, and Santana will reach.
And that's why you run down first base, kids. Right there.
It's the second strikeout in the late innings here where the Twins batter has reached. Once on a wild pitch, that on a low throw, and a flub at first by Swisher.
He just misses him reaching out to try to tag him. Yan Gomes does, so he's forced to step to the right and throw, and Swisher just got his feet all messed up. He should have caught that ball easily, but we've seen some strange things from Nick Swisher over the years.
And again, the Indian defense has not been good. It wasn't good last year when they got to the playoffs. And the Twins will try to take advantage of the gift given them here to start the 8th inning. Top of the lineup now, and Dozier at the plate. Santana's speed is at first. Nobody out. Ball 1. Dozier 0 for 3. Struck out his last time up. Two and 0. Atchison, known for control issues. Twins would like to, with nobody out, get the tying run to the plate. They did it with 2 outs in the 7th. There's a strike. Atchison fell behind Santana, ended up striking him out. Now falls behind Dozier, but comes in with strike 1. Santana told Marnie Gellner he finally settled down a little bit last night after he was nearly picked off at second base.
Well, your heart rate's got to come down at some point, and you get the heart really pumping when you almost get picked off from the catcher.
Bouncer to short. Out there. And Dozier safe at first. Santana going in hard at second base. He was on top of the second baseman Ramirez as he received the throw. 1 away. Little things like that. And I don't know that they would have doubled off Dozier anyway, but Santana's speed became a factor here. Ramirez got spiked and had Santana on top of him because of his speed.
I think what you're seeing right there is the second baseman Jose Ramirez is trying to step towards the bag, and when Santana occupied that part of the bag, he had to stand straight up. Took a split second off his throw.
Big at bat here for Fold. 1 on, 1 out. The Twins need another base runner before Plouffe comes to the plate. Foul back. 2 strikes. The error a moment ago is charged to Gomes. His 8th error of the year. As we said last night, that's a very high number for a full season. for a catcher. Most of the errors, of course, coming on stolen base attempts. Throws to the bases, second and third, but another throwing error here in the 8th inning. Down and in. Gomes stunned a lot of people last year with his ability to hit, but his defensive prowess behind the plate. If he was considered to be that good of a catcher as he showed last year, the Blue Jays would have held on to him. He became an everyday catcher and precipitated the move of Santana to third base. He's having his problems defensively this year. Full takes ball 2.
Yeah, he really made strides last year as a member of the Cleveland Indians. And I'm not so sure that the early goings is really overall snapshot of what's going to happen. I think he'll improve again.
Grounded to Santana. And another force at second base. This time Dozier right on top of Ramirez. He never does throw to first. Fold reaching on a fielder's choice. 2 away. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #NorthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by AT&T. The Twins bomber hats given away.
Yeah.
Subject of our picture here tonight.
Very appropriate hats for that particular evening.
Twins need a jolt here. Plouffe at the plate, 0 for 3. Strike on the outside corner.
Trevor Plouffe, lifetime .250 hitter against Scott Atkinson. 1 for 4.
Deep to the right field corner, chased by Murphy, but twisting foul.
Ball got in on Trevor just a little bit there. He tried to inside out it, but didn't get that good extension. Probably happy that that ball ended up in the seats.
Two strikes to Trevor Plouffe. On the outside corner. Another called third strike. And the Twins come up empty in the 8th. league debut, 6 up, 6 down, pitching to Michael Brantley, and he delivers off the plate. Brantley showing bunt, ball 1. Brantley, Santana, and Murphy, the only 3 Cleveland hitters who have not seen Darnell. 6 outs on 17 or 16 pitches. That's pretty good. Breaking ball snaps over. At some point, the Twins will have to develop some good left-handed starting pitching. Whether Darnell evolves into that remains to be seen. But this Cleveland team, it seems like for years, has always been vulnerable to left-handed pitching. 9 years ago, the Twins brought up a left-hander because the Indians were struggling against lefties, Dave Gassner, and he shut the Indians completely down and out for, I think it was his only major league win. But now again this year, the Indians hitting .220 against lefties, but the Twins have an all right-handed rotation right now.
It's hard to judge what this really means for Logan Darnell, but what you can't help but be impressed with is the fact that he's coming after the hitters. He's throwing strikes. He's making them put the ball in play. He's using his defense, and that impresses me. A young kid should have some nerves.
3-2.
Anxiety, and he's a pretty cool cat out there right now.
Fell behind Rayburn 3-0. Rayburn got green lighted and hit a fly ball to right. Now it's 3-2 to Brantley. And he struck him out. His first major league strikeout.
Another ball they're going to have to put in the old collection book.
Clocked at 94 miles per hour here at the ballpark, by the way.
See what I'm saying? There they go. They throw that one out.
First major league strikeout. Meanwhile, some guy with a Cleveland Indians jacket has got the first out that Darnell recorded.
Yeah. I don't think Logan Darnell was really too concerned about it, but his catcher, Kurt Suzuki, said, "Throw me that ball." And then he kind of realized, oh, I guess that was my first strikeout.
There's Santana down and in, ball 1. Attendance tonight 9,621, or about 600 more than were here last night. It's been a very disappointing story in baseball, not just this year, but last year. Indians didn't draw well last year, and they had one of the more exciting teams with a lot of charisma, a lot of late inning comebacks, 1-run wins, extra inning wins, walk-off wins, and they didn't draw very well at all. 2-0, and it's worse this year. 2-1. Twins are averaging more than 10,000 fans more per game than the Cleveland Indians.
Well, last year they came out playing good baseball. They started their season in Toronto and took it to the Blue Jays and really were off to a good start, hanging in there with the Tigers really all year long. But this year, down at the bottom of the American League Central, and that might be one of the reasons fans aren't showing up, plus the cold weather.
2-2. Pulled foul.
Good off-speed pitch right there by Darnell.
Now here's up. The Indians last year were good within the division. They handled everybody. Twins, Kansas City, Chicago. They only beat the Tigers 4 times in 19 games. If they had won just 2 more games, they would have been division champions just in the season series with Detroit. If they'd have won 2 more games, they would have won the division, not the Tigers. And then they wouldn't have been forced to play the 1-game wild card. You'd have had a full series where you could have gotten your best starters out there and maybe had a more competitive chance of advancing. But their biggest stumbling block last year, they couldn't beat the team they ended up finishing second to. They beat the White Sox 17 out of 19 times last year.
Well, the White Sox really struggled last year also, but 1 game after playing 162, 1 game to decide if you're going to go into postseason or not is a lot of pressure.
Popped up behind second. Dozier calls for it. Logan Darnell with 8 up and 8 down so far. Fans Baseball Unplugged, presented by Budweiser, is back this season, and it has an all-star twist. Each event will feature Twins past and present who've taken part in All-Star Week events over the years. The first event, 6 o'clock, May 15th at Toby Keith's in St. Louis Park, and will feature Jason Kubel and Kyle Gibson, a couple of veterans, I believe, of the Futures game. Fans who attend will have a chance to win 2 tickets to Taco Bell All-Star Sunday. See the Sirius XM All-Star Futures game and the Taco Bell All-Star Legends and Celebrity Softball game, of course, all at Target Field. 1-1. Twins have an apparent issue with Matt Guerrero. He's got an opt-out clause in his contract in a couple of days, and if the Twins don't promote him, he can declare himself a free agent. So the Twins may need to make room for the veteran right-hander Matt Guerrero. Darnell off the mound, and if that means Darnell has to go back to the minor leagues, what an impression he made here in Cleveland. 3 perfect innings in relief in his major league debut. Major league debut, you simply can't do any better. 3 perfect innings, a strikeout, and he did a nice job, and the Twins were able to get through this start so far, at least, with 2 pitchers. And our Century linked to what's next. Ricky Nolasco, Danny Salazar, the starters in game 3 tomorrow. Nolasco coming off a 9-inning effort against the Dodgers Friday night. And the new Cleveland pitchers, Brian Shaw. We mentioned John Axford has pitched in 3 straight games. The last 2 were blown saves. Well, actually, yesterday was just a loss, not a blown save, giving up the deciding home run to Eduardo Escobar. But pitching in 3 days in a row, Shaw a chance to pick up a save here with the Indians up by 3.
Brian Shaw pitched an inning in a third in yesterday's game. And just 1 strikeout, no runs, hits, no walks.
Colabello takes a strike. He's responsible for the lone Twins run so far. A 1-out solo home run in the 7th. Colabello, Kubel, Suzuki, with Florimon and Pinto the only available bench players. Half swing. They'll appeal. No, 1-1.
Did not break his wrist, did not put that barrel of the bat over the plate. Good check swing.
Foul back, and it's 1-2.
What a job, though. You're right. What a job for the young left-hander Logan Darnell. Impresses me when you come in and you just don't even act like you're going to walk a guy. You pitch nothing but strikes and very efficient. 32 pitches thrown.
Breaking ball lifted to short right. And Murphy comes in and makes the catch, one away. We'll bring up Kubel. Jason 1 for 3. His hit in the 7th inning, a check swing roller on the left side of the infield. And now Santana standing right where Kubel hit the little dribbler.
It went to the shortstop, Coobs.
Hope to create a little tension here in the top of the 9th. Strike 1. Indians have a good bullpen. And we've seen the rotations pitched awfully well. Indians haven't even seen the Cleveland Ace Justin Masterson. That'll happen Thursday afternoon. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
Good tailing fastball right there. Almost looked like a cutter from Brian Shaw.
See all these called third strikes. Plouffe was called out in the 8th. Kubel here in the 9th, 2 down. The last hope for the Twins is Kurt Suzuki. I was stunned to read the other day, and we'll take a look at this pitch, whether it caught the corner or not. Kubel thought not, and it looks like he was right. I was stunned to find out that Victor Martinez, who's about as professional a hitter as there is, went from near the end of May last year to early May this year without once being called out on strikes. That's a long time.
Yes, it is.
Here's Suzuki with 2 down. The outside corner, strike 1.
Well, 2 things have to go right. Number 1, you have to have a tremendous eye and know the strike zone. And you got to also be saying the right things to the home plate umpire.
1-1. If Suzuki can keep the game alive, Escobar would hit. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Shaw with 3 earlier major league saves. This will be his first of 2014. The save last year for the Indians. A couple years before that, 2 with Arizona. I think this is a changing of the guard by any means. Just a matter of Axford having pitched in 3 straight games.
Still amazes me how easy it is to get strike 2, but how hard it is to get strike 3.
It's easier for you than most.
Yeah.
Full count. On the ground. Bobbled by Cabrera, and the game is still alive. Second Cleveland error tonight. They have made 33 errors now in 33 games.
Yeah, that's another one of their weaknesses, and that's got to be improved if they expect to get back in this race at all.
The Twins, with one error, have now committed 18 31 games. We'll see if Escobar can reach, and if he does, then in the 9th inning, Pinto will hit for Herman. Chop. That is foul. It hit something along the baseline and nearly took Swisher's cap off. And it did hit wide of the bag. It took a terrible hop, but didn't hit the bag itself. It also would have been a fair ball. Outside. Suzuki aboard because of the second Cleveland error. And a drive to right center field, headed for the gap. Escobar with another hit. It'll run all the way to the gap. Suzuki being waved around third. It's 4-2, and now Josmil Pinto comes to the plate as the tying run. Ball stung again by Escobar. He's hit 3 line drives tonight.
Escobar had a notion to go to third, but I think he did the right thing. He looked at Joe Vavra, the third base coach, and he's holding him up. He does not want to make the third out at third base. He drives in a run. Suzuki doing a good job around the bases.
Pinto will hit for Herman, and the game rests on a man who has 160 major league at bats, coming to the plate as the tying run against Brian Shaw. One of Shaw's strengths as a setup man, and now as tonight's closer. He doesn't give up many home runs, none so far this year, and in 75 innings with the Indians last year, he gave up just 4 long balls. 1-1.
So he's due.
With 5 home runs on the team, second on the team to Dozier. 1-1. Popped him up, and Cabrera ends the game. Well, the Twins come at the Indians late again. A run in the 7th, an unearned run in the 9th. Quickest game of the year, I believe. 2 hours 28 minutes. Jamie Hurst, the Twins made some mistakes early. Samuel DeDuno in the rotation. Maybe the highlight of the night, Logan Darnell and his spotless 3 innings of relief.